You have a great story in the new issue of Fortune, which is just out, about how Uber has a very complex structure to avoid taxes. You call it a shell game. Tell us about it.
I think Uber is playing a tax shell game that a lot of companies play. You know, Apple, Google, Starbucks, GE, more traditional companies have sophisticated plans to keep their profits globally outside the U.S. from being reflected and taxed in the U.S. And so we dug into, you know, everyone's excited about Uber. Everybody loves it. It's been around for 5 years, and it's one of the most talked about companies in the world. It's in more than 60 countries around the world. They're very controversial around the world. People, you know, taxi companies, other critics, local governments have been wondering, do they pay enough taxes? What people haven't looked at as much is this complex structure that they've set up. And so we really dug into that.
But this is a really young company, as you say. Are you surprised the level of the steps it's taken for being so young? I mean, isn't that kind of rare?
It might seem surprising, but actually if you talk to tax professionals, tax experts, they would say, well, it makes a lot of sense. I mean, you can see that the company is on a trajectory to go global and grow really big. And by the way, you know, they're not necessarily making a lot of money right now because they're spending so much. They've raised a lot of money, they're bringing in revenue, but they're also expanding as fast as they can. But part of the whole trick here is they want to move their intellectual property offshore, so that a lot of the profits, the value of the company moves offshore early in the game so they don't have to pay as much for that later.
Right, they're
so it's
clearly
actually good
expecting
tax
a lot of
planning.
profits.
Yeah.
Right. Is there a fear or danger that this company is going to start feeling blowback from the end user? I mean, so far we haven't seen anything like that. I mean, it kind of reminds me of Donald Trump in that way. But what do you think about that, the reputational impact?
I mean, I think that's definitely possible. I already think, honestly, that Uber is a love it or hate it company.
Or love it and hate it.
Yeah, there are people that have been turned off by some of the things that you mentioned, and I do feel like this could potentially add to that.
And what they're doing is legal. It's important to emphasize that. It's legal, just like what Google is doing is legal,
right.
But not everyone is going to feel great about it.